So this is something that I started thinking about lately. I have been noticing how much I have been finding brand new bands and artists, and I just really want to try and do something different for this new channel of mine. I recently started actually coming up with a list of bands I felt like were underrated. I didn't necessarily want to do like a top 10, just simply because I feel like if I do a top 10, then it's solidified. I feel more wanting to have like a particular topic or another to where we could always just go back to it. And everything could change as time goes on. So doing a top 10, as much as I would like to do it, I feel like if I were to do one, it's just going to change on a daily, maybe even weekly basis. Bands I feel that are underrated now might actually gain popularity and become really, really big in the future. And other bands may end up just fizzling out. So as I was coming up with a bunch of new ideas, I also ended up realizing how many bands that is kind of in my backlog that I need to go back to check out, and maybe some of you guys are interested in. So I wanted to do a brand new idea that I'm going to be calling New Discoveries. New Discoveries is going to be a bunch of stuff. However, I will say for New Discoveries, and I will let it be known if I'm familiar with their work or not, basically I'm now at a point to where I'm inundated with brand new bands and artists, and sometimes I don't always have the time to check them out. Especially now with the new channel and streaming, things can be a little difficult. Which is why, with the new channel, I really hope to experience a lot new bands and artists and what have you. So I figured I want to do a segment of New Discoveries, various bands and artists I've came across that I may or may not actually know, but I definitely would love to present them to you guys. And maybe somewhere along the line, if it's not a band I'm familiar with, maybe you could let me know and see what songs really pop out at you, and you could let me know down in the comments. But also, I really do know that there are plenty of bands out there that are, their entire history came and gone, but I am a fan and I still want to present them. So basically, New Discoveries is going to be old bands that I heard from years ago that I would like to present that may be new to you guys. It could also be bands and artists that I just discovered. And it could also be bands and artists that I just discovered and I just don't have the time to listen to them. And I absolutely love this because I could always just go back to it and just redo a new list. So for today, I figured I'm going to go with 5 different bands. So with this first one, I wanted to kind of do things a little bit different, and I figured let's actually take a look at bands from multiple different countries. So we're actually going to be talking about a band from Spain, a band from India, a band from the United States, and I am inundated with a bunch of Japanese rock bands, and I'm really loving everything that I'm hearing coming out of Japan, and I got 2 in mind I'm going to save for the end. Yeah, we're going to be checking out 2 bands from Japan, and as a fan, for me, it's saving the best for last. Which, I don't know how this list is going to turn out because I think all of them are actually really good in their own way. Needless to say, the theme here is definitely going to be hard rock and heavy metal. So if that is something that you're interested in, I think you're going to be really intrigued by the end of this. So with the first that we're going to be taking a look at, we're actually going to be taking a look at, I'm probably going to botch this guy's name, Estepario Siberiano. I hope I got his name correctly. I'm not from Spain. I even botch American names, so I hope I nailed it. But Estepario Siberiano, he is an amazing drummer. I think a lot of people would be incredibly impressed if you ever check out this guy's drumming. It is actually insane. I did do a music stream to where I actually just wanted to talk about this guy because he is doing things that some people would wish that they could do with just two hands. This guy makes it feel like he's using four, and he's doing it all in one hand. And he has this showmanship. He's a drummer like no other, and I was very impressed. I honestly kind of forget how I came across him, but once I checked out his channel, I was incredibly amazed. And I know what you're probably thinking is, wait a second, we're checking out just drummers now? I know. The thing is, Estepario depending on how many metal bands you follow in the music scene, a lot of people was kind of speculating who is Slipknot's brand new drummer. According to what I've heard, they needed a brand new drummer, and everyone was speculating who is going to be the new drummer. Now, of course, we all know who the new drummer is. As a matter of fact, Estepario Siberiano, he ended up doing a video on just that. But a lot of people were kind of speculating, and Estepario, he was high on everybody's list. And why wouldn't he? Because he's an incredible drummer. But he was also making hints that he himself was also wanting to try something new. And he ended up bringing a couple of people together, and he ended up with a band called The Cost. Very impressive, and I am very interested to see what The Cost might come up with. I did check out, I think it was their very first song that they ever did. I think it was called Not For Me. I did check out that song. I think there is another song, Illusion, that I kind of been holding off checking out because I somehow kind of figured there might be a chance I might end up starting a new channel, and sure enough, it took a lot of months to get here, but yeah, it feels like for over a year or so I have been thinking about starting a new channel. And then come September of 2024, I ended up like, okay, like we're actually doing this. Estepario, I pretty much kind of feel like I kind of knew that this moment was gonna come, because like he's just a phenomenal drummer. Even if you're not a big fan of metal, I think there is something to say about the man's technique and showmanship that is well worth taking a look at. And without a doubt, even if the cost is not your kind of type of thing, I heavily implore everybody to actually go check out, I think it was his 100,000 sub video that he did.
Oh. None of this makes any sense. That can't be how it happened. Oh.
At the very least, I heavily implore everybody go check out the video. I think it's the video that he did when he hit 1 million subs on YouTube. I believe it's called My Story, and I thought it was very intriguing to hear just how he got his start. And I feel like that video was very intriguing just to hear like how he kind of got his start and how he really kind of wants to practice drumming. Because one thing that I have heard from Estepario is he really is somebody that does advocate like you have to be practicing every single day. He didn't get this overnight. But I thought that was a good video, and I heavily implore you to go check it out. It's just kind of interesting to hear from his own words what he did and had to do to kind of get to where he is, and it's just very intriguing. And honestly, he's actually a really awesome guy from what you see and hear of him. And now, to be fair, I actually don't know how much of the band is actually from Spain, but at the very least, the drummer is. Now, instead of just hearing a drummer from Spain, let's go to a band in India, of all places. I'm probably going to be saying this a lot. I kind of forget how I came across Bloodywood. One thing I do know is I want to say there was like a recommendation video, I believe, and there was like a couple of songs that was recommended. And I figured, all right, I'll see about them for myself and see how I feel. I want to say it was the song Ari Ari and Machi Basad. I'm probably going to be botching a bunch of names here, and I do apologize. I think these were actually the two songs I heard, and I'm not going to lie, I was kind of blown away. Now, to be fair, for those people that know me, know who I am basically like a huge fan of professional wrestling, and one of my favorite wrestlers to watch was Sabu. And one of the things I really loved about Sabu was his theme song. And it feels weird to actually say, like, unfortunately, you're probably going to hear me say this a handful of times if anyone really deep dives into my content, but basically you will see and hear me bring up how much, like, oh, this band reminds me of, like, this particular wrestler's theme song or what have you. And with Bloodywood, it really is a case of, like, it feels interesting to kind of hear kind of like Arabian, you know, maybe like Middle East kind of type of music, or, you know, East Asia kind of type of music. And it's just, it is amazing to kind of like hear a folk style song being blended with hard rock and heavy metal. I was always a huge fan of Sabu's music, and to hear, you know, that kind of type of style, but now it's done with a band, and this band is trying to blend the Indian folk style kind of type of music with modern day rock and roll and heavy metal. It's, for me as a fan, like, it really is interesting when you blend those genres together with both folk and modern. This is not the first time I've heard of a band to where they blended folk and metal together, or folk and rock together. So the concept isn't new, but to specifically have Indian folk music and metal, I gotta say, it's a first for me, specifically on that front, and I heavily approve. Bloodywood is very, very good, and from the looks of things, I kind of get the impression that the band was kind of like a Patreon-funded group to some degree, or at least from, I think it was... I want to say it was like Ari. I think at the end of it, they actually like show their list of like backers and everything. So, I mean, that just makes things just feel so insane to me. But yeah, I hope Bloodywood becomes bigger and better. And at the time of this recording, I recently actually did take a look at the song New Delhi that they did. But I also did check out the collab that Bloodywood did with Baby Metal, and I was already... I would say I had Bloodywood on my radar, but now it's like, if they do something, oh, I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, Bloodywood is very, very good, and a high recommendation. So we move from India to now the United States. When I originally was coming up with some ideas of bands underrated, I eventually settled on going with the idea of like bands I don't hear about enough. I eventually ended up scrapping that whole idea, but the one band at the top of that list that I feel like I just don't hear about enough, that I wish I heard more people talk about because they're really, really good. There's a band called Pretty Reckless. The Pretty Reckless is ran by Taylor Momsen. She is an amazing vocalist. To this day, I still remember her song, Wild City. It's that time of the season when the blood runs high, and God must have a reason when the temperature drops. One more nameless baby. I think there is a level of inspiration that you can kind of draw from this. I do kind of feel like this is a song, like, if there are any women out there who feel like they have like a harsh life, you know, maybe I didn't have this life per se, you know, like what you hear in the song, but, you know, I could sympathize with that harsh lifestyle. And definitely one thing I really love about that song is how much it has a 70s vibe to it. I also realize maybe keep that 70s vibe in mind because we might be coming back to it. There is one song that I really just want to talk about, mostly because going back to my fandom of pro wrestling, I always kind of found Raven to have like very unique theme songs. Definitely he was like more of like a grunge kind of type of guy. And sometimes there's just like songs and stuff to where they speak to me. Now, even though that the song itself, Hangman, I would say definitely has a vibe of some, feels like an interesting that I would probably hear from Raven. Pretty Reckless, the song Hangman, isn't just by itself. It's actually, there's a little bit of like an opener to it, and that opener is actually a song called The Walls Are Closing In.
One more time.
There's no light, Mama, I can't see it all. Left to break.
Definitely it's a song that is it's a very quick portion of the song, and there is definitely a lot of elegance to be said there. You have like this really nice piano playing in the background, and Taylor Momsen's vocals really knocks it out of the park. But then we are invited into Hangman, and all of a sudden we get this very hard, aggressive, like metal grunge that is just so freaking good. I cannot tell you how many times I would just play the song Hangman on a loop. There's even definitely a part in the song to where I believe the lyrics are entirely done in Latin, which is just... I gotta say, I really love that part of the song just simply because I feel like it adds a level of mystique. If you're really into the music, into the style of what's being presented, it does leave that level of, I wonder what's really being said here. I would say that in Christmas of 2020, I actually ended up getting a huge kick in the face from Pretty Reckless when they released their music video 25. I feel like words just cannot express exactly how I feel about Taylor Momsen's, not only just the lyric side of things, but also the vocals. I think she adds a level to the music entirely that just brings everything up to a whole nother notch. Where I would probably say, oh, this song is probably like a 7 out of 10. Whenever there's a really good song with good vocals and good lyrics, it just brings everything up. And that style of having a soft verse, hard chorus is shown at full display here, everybody just knocks it right out of the park. Needless to say, I'm probably going to do a flashback reaction to Taylor Momsen's The Pretty Reckless. Pretty much every song that I just mentioned here, I'm going to do a flashback reaction, just simply because, and for those that probably don't know, flashback reactions means I already seen this song, but for reasons, I just want to watch it so that way I could kind of promote it for you guys to go check out. The Pretty Reckless 25, it was a banger song when I first heard it. I remember sitting here in this chair and just being, what are we just listening to? 2020, it was definitely, for me, it was a year of just discovering new bands and artists. With The Pretty Reckless, they were on my radar years ago. I think it was probably around, actually it was around Lemmy's passing. Actually, I want to say it was around the time when Motorhead disbanded. Lemmy passed away in 2015. I want to say it was actually maybe even slightly before that I discovered The Pretty Reckless was always on my radar, and I'm always curious of what's around the next corner. Just like with any band, there are going to be songs that are going to be like hit and miss, but it feels like when The Pretty Reckless, when they hit hard. So yeah, if there's ever like a brand new music video that I see on X or something, I'm definitely going to be checking it out for sure. Or if my YouTube recommended hits me with another music video to check out. And as we go from the United States, let's go to Japan. And these last two bands that I have for you guys, these two are just absolutely insane. Unfortunately, I wish I could sit here and just kind of talk about various different things about the bands, but it's Japan, and there's going to be a lot of language barrier for sure, to where not a lot of information is going to be available. Unfortunately for me, I have to rely on Google Translate, and even with that, information is still incredibly limited. And unfortunately, I can't really speak too much about how the band got their start, what they're all about, but at the very least, I can talk about the two songs that I did hear from this band. Whiskey Dust. Is easily one of my favorite bands I've ever heard. And if you remember when I said earlier about maybe remember that 70s vibe, well, for Pretty Reckless, it was just a single song that had a 70s vibe to it. Well, the thing about Whiskey Dust, they are a Japanese 70s metal throwback. I am just amazed by the level of talent that this band has. One of the songs I absolutely love from Whiskey Dust is a song called Poor Woman. I absolutely love the song, but yeah, there might be a little too much skin for YouTube. I mean, granted, it is on YouTube, but I get the feeling once it becomes more popular, it's going to get age restricted. I think the other song that I absolutely loved from Whiskey Dust is a song called, I don't know if it's called Fake, again, I'm running everything through Google Translate, and in kanji, I'm getting a translation back saying fake person mannequin, so take that information for what you will. But the song Mannequin, it's just another song that I just absolutely love. Again, it's with the guitars, I'm just really amazed of how much they're just kind of going with like a 70s vibe. Unfortunately, though, they're relatively new to some degree, and things have been kind of slow. Yeah, Whiskey Dust, they only have one album and one EP out. Definitely, if you're into 70s hard rock and heavy metal, I think you would absolutely love Whiskey Dust. And they were one of the few bands and artists that I noticed when 2024 was coming to a close. A lot of people was kind of doing like a celebration, New Year, get the band together, we'll do a live stream, and we'll just talk about possibly, I could only imagine that they're talking about New Year resolution kind of type of stuff. And good to know that Whiskey Dust, even though things could probably be slow for them, they're still trying their best to stay active. And I really do hope that we hear big things in 2025. And we are now down to our final band for this video. Staying in Japan, we are going to be taking a look at Mellows. Mellows is... This band was really something. It was... I think the album was called Alloy. It came out in 2024, and unfortunately a lot of the songs I heard off the album Alloy didn't really speak to me, but the one song that did speak to me, I actually don't even really know the name of it per se. It's written in kanji, and I think I ran it through Google Translate. It said Secret, so I guess it's Secret Closet was the name of the song. I was absolutely blown away with this particular music video. I will also say it might be a little difficult to try and get people into the band with that song, because I feel like it's the best, but also at the same time, I will admit, it might be a bit much for some people, because the music does completely stop and go full pop. So those are into pop, or, you know, they're not going to like the heavy metal stuff, and I think the people that like the heavy metal stuff isn't going to like the pop. So I think some people are not going to really like the song too much. For what I've seen and heard, it was definitely the best song off the album. I will say, everything is so good. I think those that are fans will easily overlook a lot of things. I already have a flashback reaction video that I already recorded it. I'm just in the middle of trying to... I really love it, and I hope you guys really love it too. And I probably would end it right there, but I actually do have a little bit of a mild bonus. So one of the guitarists with the band Mellows, Sally, she's actually doing something incredibly insane. Or at least it feels insane to me. I came across a documentary online. I was very tempted to actually do a reaction, but kind of felt uncomfortable because I don't know the person that does the YouTube channel, so I really wasn't sure. I'll probably link that in the description below if you guys want to check that out for yourself. There was a little bit of like a documentary that I saw online to where this guy was following a musician. The musician he was following around was a musician by the name of Sally. And the funny thing is, I actually didn't, I'm kind of vague with Mellows, so I wasn't too sure about names, but when I saw the face, I was like, I feel like I've seen that face before. How do I know this person? And in the documentary, this guy is following Sally around, and turns out she's with the band LOC, or Last One Call. And I thought, that's kind of interesting. I should probably look into this band LOC. And it turns out that Sally has a YouTube channel, and it was under the About Me on the YouTube channel that I ended up discovering that this is indeed my Sally from Mellows. And when I saw that, I was immediately just blown away. You mean to tell me Sally isn't just in Mellows, she's also in LOC, and it doesn't stop there, because at the time of this recording, I'm currently right now early January in 2025. Next month in February, early February, February 5th to be exact, Sally is scheduled to release her very first solo album. And I already did a first time ever watch of that particular. She may have released one music video to her YouTube channel. I'm assuming it's off the album Burn It. Burn It is her solo album. I did do a first time watch on that, and needless to say, I am very amazed that Sally is very active. She has, I don't know if anything's gonna spawn from this solo album. She's with LOC and she's with Mellows. And again, at the time of this recording, Sally has been doing a lot of live streams, I'm assuming to interact with her fans, kind of get a little hyped for her new solo album. And she has been seen with Mellows doing live streams as well. So from the looks of things, Sally is, at least at the time of this recording, it looks like she's staying in all of these bands and just staying active. Of course, I just have to stand here and just applaud everything because it is just insane to see what she's capable of doing. I will say, I think I'm pretty much just going to close out here for the most part, but I feel like in closing, even though I would say Mellows is definitely more hard rock and heavy metal, I will say when it comes to the band LOC, Last One Call, I did check out one song from Last One Call. It was actually very recently as well. Is if you're into bands like, I would say, Silent Siren, or if you're into bands like Scandal, I think there's a good chance you might end up liking LOC. They're definitely, at least from the one song that I did check out, I really should check out the rest of the album, but I got like a lot of different projects and stuff, so if there is that one good song that is on the album, I kind of want to do like a reaction to it. So that's the reason why I'm kind of holding off on a lot of music that I'm doing, because before I could just sit back and just listen to music, but now it's like if there's a good song, I want to kind of make sure to record it for you guys. Definitely there is probably going to be a part of me to where I eventually do check out other music, and it's going to be like a full pause and it's like, okay, we're doing a video. But at the time being, I'm just kind of like, if I come across it, I come across it, and we'll just kind of just go from there. But yeah, Mellows, they're definitely more heavy metal, hard rock. LOC, they're definitely more upbeat and definitely more, I would say, on the pop side of things. And when it came to Sally's song, Lost at Sea, I remember it kind of being somewhere in between, to where I think, because I think with her solo album, this is just my prediction. Again, this is January, so, you know, this is either going to age very poorly or be pretty spot on. But I'm guessing because of her range, since Sally is going to be, I'm assuming because it's her solo album, I'm assuming she's essentially somewhat like the composer. And my guess is she's going to try her best to show off her range of the hard rock style, but also that upbeat rock pop style that you would normally see from, again, bands like Silent Siren or Scandal or something. So I would say there is a little bit of a bonus here with Mellows, LOC, and Sally. So, but these are definitely bands that are on my radar, so I really do hope that you guys walk away from this video with a little bit of something. So I really do hope that you guys liked what you saw from this video. Definitely let me know down in the description below if there's some bands and artists that you think I should probably take a look at and listen to. And most importantly, what do you guys think about some of these new discoveries? What do you guys think about El Estepario or The Cost, Bloodywood, Pretty Reckless, Taylor Momsen, Whiskey Dust, Mellows, LOC, Last One Call, and of course, Sally? I definitely want to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. Links to all these bands and artists in the description. Links down below for supporting me and my channel as well. Really do appreciate all of those that do. And I'm out of here. Born to lose, live to win. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.
Well, I tell you, this is what it's like. It's like when you were in high school and you had your girl and Bobby had his, and I said, meet me down by the pond in the back of the old shed. We got an old chicken wire cage there. Let the girls stand outside and let's get it on inside. And that's what we're going to have, an old-fashioned inside